Hi, hello, and welcome to the 9th episode of the Whips and Whimsy podcast YouTube channel thing. My name is Edith. My pronouns are they, them. I am your host. This is my little area of the internet where we talk about knitting and life and usually some Star Wars hot takes, but I don't think I have any this week. Mostly knitting. Today is Saturday, May 24th. Which means it's kicking off the knit along on Sheila Bobby's channel, which is, I believe, Charlie's Hop Along, Charlie's Sock Along. It is a knit along where you knit socks and then her rabbit judges them. And I'm excited. It's gonna be a great time. Anyway, let's get into the things I have made this week and the things I am working on, shall we? Also, welcome to the channel. Hi, hello. Especially if you're new. Sup? How's it going? The first thing we do in this show is called the Pig Parade. One of the things I do for stress relief, not every day, but most days, is I knit a tiny pig. This is the Chichester the Pig pattern by Helen Apocalypse Knits. I have memorized this pattern. It takes me like half an hour to make one of these. These are the size of 2 cotton balls, and I love them. Please behold. So they make me happy. I knit them when I'm stressed because I'm like, I want to see something silly in the world and something whimsical. And then I give them out to people when it just seems like they also need something silly and whimsical. And I have a small army of them. And it's great. I knit these on size 3 needles using fingering weight yarn held double. That is my Pig Parade for the week. Very short. What did I have going on? I don't remember what I was doing that I was like, I don't need to knit pigs. But apparently something happened. I don't know. Anyway, we're moving on. I also have a finished object for this week. It's my Nature's Healing socks, which is what I've named them because they look like springy life colors, and that's me right now. All of my socks I knit basically the same thing. It's 56 stitches on size 1 flexi flips. I do 10 rounds of 2x2 ribbing, 30 rounds for the leg, slip stitch, heel, and gusset, and then however many rounds I need for the foot, and then a square toe. This particular pattern has the contrast color. I have never figured out what the name is. I know it's from Blue Barn Fiber, who is one of my favorite indie dyers. And I think it's like Into the Forest or Into the Woods or something like that. And then the contrast color, or the main color is Spruce from Blue Barn Fiber. I love these. I can't wait until the fall to wear these. They're so soft. They're so soft. They're so squishy. They're so good. These are for me. They're going to be awesome. So that brings us into our works in progress. I have 3 this week. Also, I should mention, if you watched the last episode, I was not planning to finish these. Last episode, I gave out so many of my knitting plans, and then I didn't do any of them. Like, I finished the podcast, and like as I was like watching it back and editing, I was like, I'm being way more complicated than I need to be. And so I just scrapped that entire plan of being like, I'm gonna get through 2 heel and gussets on like 1 pair of socks and just take them with me to a basketball game. No. I was like, I can just knit the second sock on these. So I did. And then I was like, I can just bring the Musselburgh into the basketball game because that's gonna be stockinette. I did. I didn't work on it there, but I did bring it with me. We'll talk about the basketball game when we get to lifey stuff at the end. But in the meantime, I did work on my hat. It looks like an amoeba right now. Hold on. We're going to unmagic loop this. This is the Musselburgh that I'm currently working on. This is a pattern by Ysolda Teague. This is where we left off. And this is where we at. This yarn is the Witch's Heart colorway by Bewitched Pigments. It is 80% alpaca, 20% silk. It is so soft, so good. It is very strange to work with because I am a one-trick pony. And I really like I work with fingering weight yarn that is some blend of wool nylon. That is the only thing I buy. In fact, when my friend Jen sent me this yarn, I did not at first read the label because I forgot that like other types of yarn exist. I was like, obviously this has to be wool nylon fingering weight. And then I went to cast on a pair of socks with it, and I was like reading the label, and I was like, this is not for socks. there are other things you can make than socks. Wild. So we're making a hat. I love this. I love the way that the color is pooling. My bag just fell on the floor, which is a good reminder to show you the bag. The bag that this project is living in is actually the first sock bag I ever used. It's definitely showing up backwards here. It says Yarned and Dangerous. This is from Knit Picks. I don't know if they still have it. I think I bought it when it was on clearance like a couple of years ago. But yeah, I'm enjoying, what am I doing? I'm enjoying this pattern a lot. I've made maybe like 4 or 5 of these before, you know, as you do. You buy the Musselburgh pattern and you're like, this is the pattern I need for life. I don't even open the pattern anymore. I'm like, I know what I need to do. I know how many stitches I need. I don't like the way that she talks about crown increases, so I ignore that and I just do my own thing. I'm like, we're vibing. I don't even do the regular cast on. I do a Turkish cast on. I don't care. Like, no, we're vibing. We're just gonna make a giant tube. We're gonna put another crown on it. We're gonna call it a day. Yeah. Again, loving this yarn. Look at it closely. Love it. And that brings us, if I can get this tucked away, that brings us to socks. So, yeah, I knit a whole sock. I knit a whole sock last week. So that was my Nature is Healing socks. And now I am free to work on my potato socks, which are also for Jen. My friend Jen is a knitter who does not knit socks. She likes to knit sweaters. I am a knitter who clearly likes to knit socks and does not knit anything else. But I would like to own a hand knit sweater. So we are doing a barter. And so I am making a bunch of socks for her in exchange for getting a whole sweater. Whole completed sweater. And we're seeing each other in June because Jen does not live locally to me. And so I'm trying to get everything done by June so that I don't have to like ship things because I'm lazy and I would rather just have them done. So I'm working on the potatoes socks. This yarn is from Tiny Human Knits. I'm obsessed. We were here last time. And yes, that is the same that is the same keeper as the other socks because I was like, it'll match the colors in this better. I just did the heel turn. I need to pick up stitches. That's fine with me. I'm obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with these colors. They're so good. I'm having a great time. Tiny Human Knits, their yarn is like, it's so squishy and tactile, and I'm obsessed with them. So yeah, this is the same as my other ones. 10 rounds, 30 rounds, put a heel on it, move on. That is living in my main project bag, which my friend Kaylee made. I forget in literally every episode because I am just like friends with Kaylee. I forget that Kaylee has a store where she sells bags. And so I'm saying this right now so that Editing Zenith will put like the name of Kaylee's shop in the episode. Because I've literally failed to mention this 9 times. Because to me, Kaylee is like not a business person. She's just like a friend of mine. And then I'm like, you can go buy her bags. And they're great bags. They're really good. They're like lined on the inside. They're the perfect size. I'm obsessed with mine. I am not going to fail Kaylee today. Anyway, those are my potatoes. That is how that is going. I am probably going to be working on those a lot over the 3-day weekend that I've got coming up. The next item I have to show for you, there's nothing to see. There's nothing to see, and we're gonna have to like cut here so I can go grab some stuff in a second. So be prepared for that. I have a new tradition where on Fridays I get home from work or whatever, and in the evening I watch a movie and cast on a new pair of socks. This is making me very happy. I love doing this. This week, I didn't want to do anything this week. Like, I was just like, I'm down for the count. I'm low energy. Like, what is the bare minimum I can do? And I originally planned to watch Solo, which I haven't seen yet, and cast on a pair of socks. And I was like, that will be great. And it got to Friday night, and I was like, if I have to watch a 2.5-hour movie, I'm going to kill somebody. I'm not doing it. So I was like, first of all, we're not going to watch Solo. You know what? We're going to watch Little Mermaid. I have not seen this since I was like 8 years old, maybe. I was like, let's see how that goes for me as an adult. And then also I was like still making dinner as the movie was playing, because I was like, if I have to be out of bed past 8 p.m. not having a good time. So half of the movie I was like cooking like tacos in the kitchen, and then the rest of it I was like, okay, fine, I'll work on socks. So I got literally 4 rows done on a sock, but you know, it's cast on, it's good, it's fine. This yarn is from Bewitched Pigments. It is the Witching Hour colorway. It is sparkly. And we're going to do a cut real quick because I want to talk about contrast yarns. So, one moment. Okay, hi. So, I have this as my main color. And it's sparkly, which I love. And I do not have that many sparkly yarns. So, but here's my problem. I always knit a contrast color for the heel when I do cuff down socks. Because when I count rows for the foot, I always start that count from the last row of the heel and not like the heel turn is done and then I start counting. And like I need to be able to visually see like, oh, this row is the row I start counting on, which means it needs to be a different color. So I have this, which is sparkly. And then I'm trying to figure out what to use as a contrast color. So I have this, which is a whole lot of different colors. But I think I hate it. I think this is a no. Yesterday I was like, yeah, that'll be cute. And today I'm like, no. My second thought is actually the same contrast color as the potatoes socks. One thing that I do like about this is if I go with this route, then it coordinates with the hat. And I love when you get to have a moment where you have hand knit matching socks, matching hat. Like that is a good vibe. My third thought is that Jen also sent me this color Canyon, which has sparklies in it. I think you can see that. So I could potentially use this for the heel. And then when I go to knit this sock, I can use this one for the cuff, heels, toes. I'm not sure. I also, in my own stash, I have like a sparkly maroon color that was going to be socks for someone, and then I don't think I'm going to get to them in time. And I was planning to use that with this. And it's too dark to go with this one and like not look funky. And I didn't grab it. So I'm not doing a second cut. But yeah, what do I do for colors? Let me know what you think. I'm really bad at picking yarn colors. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. Like, my favorite thing is having friends who are good at picking out colors and having them like come to my house and being like, I know you don't knit, but just look at my stash and tell me like, what yarns would you put together? Because what I would choose and what people with like good color sense choose, not the same. And I love when other people are like, Zenith, baby, put these two together, because every time it works out really well and I'm like, thank you. There's a reason I buy a lot of self-striping yarn, and it's because the dyer has done the work for me, because I can't. I love a good sock set because I don't have to think about it. I'm like, thank you, you've decided. Yeah, so I think I'm leaning potatoes. I think I like that. I feel like I'm also a little biased because these are not the exact colors, but they are very similar to my high school colors. So I think I'm automatically like blue and yellow, obviously, because like I, for many years of my life had blue and yellow stuff for everything, because, high school pride when you grow up in the South. It's a thing. Anyway, that is my socks. Let me get that stuffed back into a bag. My plan, okay, my life is going really well right now. I'm going to tell you why. So Memorial Day is Monday. So I have a 3-day weekend. My job, we work 9-hour shifts, and then we have every other Friday off. So I have Monday off. I go into work for 3 days. I have another 3-day weekend. Incredible. Impeccable. We love it. So I'm going to get a bunch of knitting done this weekend and then next weekend as well. It's just going to be, God willing, the creek don't rise. As long as my wrist, as long as my arms stay happy and mobile and whatever, tons of knitting. So much. So my plan is to like crank out the potatoes and then probably use, in fact, what I might do just to make sure that I have enough yarn is I might do the toe stripey as well even. But my plan is to get the potato socks done like a lot done this weekend and then focus on the witching hour socks after that. One of the things I like to do because my wrists are bad is I set 30-minute timers, and then after the 30-minute timer I do some stretches. I stretch my arms. I also like stretch my body, because I've been sitting. And then because I'm already setting that timer, I like to work on 2 different projects. So I like to do, like half an hour on socks, half an hour on like a blanket or something. So in this case, what I will probably do is spend half an hour on my Musselburgh. Because I for sure need to have this done when Jen comes to visit me. This is like the big one. Like she asked for one thing. She said, knit me 5 items. Please make me something with the witch's heart yarn. And I said, understood. So this has to get done. This one has to get done. And then, yeah, the other stuff, it's just gravy. But I would like to get them done. So I will work on potatoes. I will work on this. When that's done, I will move on to my other socks. Hopefully I will have a pair of needles free next Friday to work on something else. Sock yarn for socks. Oh my God. I had so much caffeine today, and I feel like you can really tell. I skipped gym class this morning because I wanted my wrist to be available, so like I did not go to my HIIT class, which is probably honestly a good thing. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to life stuff because I think that's it for knitting. So for life stuff, oh my God, I went to a WNBA game last weekend, and it was the most fun ever. Best sporting event I've ever gone to. I am not actually a big like basketball person. Like I do not want to go watch the Celtics. I do not want to go to TD Garden for anything. Like that stadium is massive. I don't want to deal with it. But like Mohegan, the arena's inside a casino, bro. Like you have to go through a casino. Like you have to like walk through like where they have all the slot machines and crap. And then you're like walking and there's like signs for arena. And then they just stop. And then you like look to your right and there's like an entire arena. What? I bought the cheapest tickets you could get back in January for like a random Sunday game. Turns out it was a season opener, so that was nice. They were such good seats, we could read the backs of the players' jerseys for like $100 for 2 tickets. What? What? It was so dynamic. There was so much energy. Like I brought knitting because I was like, I have been to sports games before and I know how boring they are. Like it's fun to be there. The energy is really fun. I'm going to need a fidget. I know myself. No, I didn't even think about it. I was just like, my eyes are glued to the game. The only thing I'm looking away for is the roster. I don't want snacks. I don't want like I'm not looking for hot dogs. Like, no, we're locked and loaded. Like, tell me how it's gonna go. And then they lost, which really sucked because they were in the lead for most of the game. The Connecticut Sun. I should have mentioned Connecticut. I went to see the Connecticut Sun. I live in Massachusetts. Hi. Anyway, it was oh my God, it was so much fun. It was like a 2-hour drive, 2.5-hour drive from where I live. So not something I could do again. If they played closer to me, I would have season tickets, baby. Oh my God, it was so much fun. So much fun. What else happened in life this week? My dad's birthday was this week. He turned 74. My brother and my aunt drove down and like made this big like Hawaiian luau. They're all in Florida. I was not there. My dad called me during dinner and like put the phone on speakerphone in the middle of the table and was like, "You're here with us." And I was like, this is really cute. So that was adorable. Also, my brother is a Florida man. I think I've mentioned this before. Like his personality is Florida man. So he decided my dad needed 74 candles on his birthday cake and put all 74 candles on the birthday cake. And then walked out with it like on a sheet tray and was like, here, Dad. I'll see if I can put a picture. Because I feel like you need it. You should see. You should behold what I deal with on a regular basis. So that was iconic. What else? Yeah, my dad's birthday was this week. WNBA was this week. Work was quiet. Work is whatever. It was a 5-day week. Oh my god, it was like so long because I haven't had it. It's been like 2 or 3 weeks since I've had to work a 5-day week because I had to get my car worked on. And I was like, this is awful. I hate this. How do people do this every week? No, it could not be me. I think it's worse because it's 9-hour shifts. Like, if it was an 8-hour shift, I'd be like, oh, whatever. But like, it's 9. It's 9-hour days. 5 days in a row. Oh. Ugh. Anyway, that brings us to the usual life stuff. Reading, watching, listening. I finished reading Madame Sosostris and the Festival for the Brokenhearted. That's what that's called, by Ben Okri. It was super good. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely like literary fiction, but it's the kind of literary fiction that is very like surrealist and like magical realism energy. I enjoyed it so much. Oh my god, it was so weird. I'm not sure I understood the point of the book. It's okay. I don't care. The vibes are great. The other thing I started reading the autobiography of Asada Shakur. I didn't watch anything. I watched my YouTube. I feel like most of the here's my problem. Most of the knitting YouTubers that I watch have gone to like a 2-week schedule, which is fine. Love that. They all drop their videos on the same week though. Like if half of them picked one week and the other half picked the other, it would be great. No, it's like for 1 week I'll have like nothing on YouTube to watch. And then the second week I'm like, I have like 5 hours worth of stuff to watch because of just how like everyone's schedule is, like when they put out videos or whatever. So I'm like, okay, all right. So this was a knitting week. So I watched a lot of YouTube and I did not watch any shows whatsoever. I'm still obsessed with Star Wars. I should be clear. I wrote 3.5 chapters worth of fan fiction this week. But I didn't watch anything because my roommate and I did not have schedules aligning, so we could not rewatch Andor. And yeah, and again, last night I was like, no, I'm gonna watch Little Mermaid. For listening, this week I started listening to Jid. He's a rapper. I don't actually know that much about him. I just like started listening to his music and was like, yo, this slaps. So I've been listening to that. Also listen to Bad Bunny a little bit. Again, like outside of my usual comfort zone, I don't speak Spanish well enough to understand anything he says. But like the beats are good. His music slaps. I don't need to know all the lyrics. I can look them up if I feel like it. So been enjoying that. Yeah, usually I'm a metal girly person. Gender neutral girly. But I think you gotta do something different. You gotta do something different sometimes. You gotta palette cleanse. Anyway, I think that is all I have for you. I've been rambling for a while. I hope that this was not too disorganized. It's definitely a little bit disorganized. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you have a whimsical day and find some whimsy in your life in general. And I will see you next time. Bye.